Hey guys, welcome back to another episode here on This Is Just the Beginning. I hope you're well and I hope you have had a really good week. I'm sorry this episode is a few days late. I have had the busiest week yet, so I'm doing it today. So I hope you're having a great Saturday morning. And yeah, let's just get straight into it. As you can guess from the episode title, today I kind of wanted to talk about all things mental health days, recharging, especially recharging your social battery, and kind of that urge to get back on track after you've perhaps spent a week away at your friend's house, or you've been on holiday, or you've been ill, for example, and just kind of all about that. This week, again, I've been back in Bath with my sister and her friends, and I have this every time I'm away for either a few days or a week or however long I'm away for. Usually it involves me not being productive, not going on walks, not doing workouts, and just eating junk as well. And as much as my kind of recovery brain is like, this is good, you can still do this, you're not going to gain weight over like a week, it's absolutely fine. In my head as well, I'm like, I don't like doing that. So the day usually when I'm leaving, I get so anxious and I feel really bad because the people that I'm staying with, that's their kind of like daily routine, and I feel really bad being like, oh my god, I need to go home, I need to go to the gym, blah blah blah. I always say all that and I get in the car and I leave, and in my head I'm thinking, oh, let's go to the gym on the way back, let's pick up a salad, like all of these productive things in my head, like, oh, let's do a podcast when I get home, let's write blogs, let's do this, let's do that. I always get home and I just want to crash. I just want to watch films in bed and have an absolute chill. And I think that is what you should do. And instead of trying to rush to get back on track, you need to give your mental health a break as well. And yeah, because when I'm away, as I said, I give my body a rest. I'm usually on the sofa watching TV all day. But then when I get home, I don't want to be doing that. I want to be, like going on runs, going to the gym, being productive, cleaning my room, kind of just being on my feet all day, because I know that I've been sat down like all week. But I just need to remind myself that it's okay to do that, and it's okay then, because this is what annoys me every single time. Like the next morning I wake up after a night in my own bed and I get up late and I don't want to go to the gym and I don't want to do anything, and that's what I've woken up with this morning. And I'm just like, I want to play Minecraft all day because, I'm being a bit real with you guys here, but I still play a bit of Minecraft here and there. Actually, you can kind of tell when I'm not in my best mental state when I do go play Minecraft. That's just a little thing you should know about me, but I don't play it religiously. I just play it when I'm a bit sad and just want to have a little break from the world. So I know I'm 20, but I still play it from time to time. But yeah, and this morning I woke up and I just did not want to do anything. I didn't want to go to the gym. I was meant to wake up at 7:30. I didn't go to sleep till 2, just because I haven't had like my own Netflix for a week. So I'm like, I kind of want to catch up on Gossip Girl, even though I've watched it God knows how many times, but I'm rewatching it at the moment. And I was like, I just kind of want to have a really chill night to myself. And that's what I did. And then my body was just like, do not get up early, just stay in bed. So I got up at 10 this morning. It's currently 20 past 10, so I've just thought, I'm just going to do a podcast about this because this is something that I really struggle with, and I know probably a lot of you do too. And it's that kind of just need to get back on track straight away. But you also need to recharge your social battery. Sure, if you've been like lazy all week, whatever. And I always say that exercise is like does wonders for your mental health, for everything. It's not just about keeping fit, it's about having that mental break. And I'm not saying that I'm not going to do any exercise today. I probably will. But it's just that kind of need to just be productive straight away. And this definitely applies like after holiday. You've been away for a week, sunbathing all day, and like you've got to go back to work, or you've got loads of stuff to do at home, that kind of thing. The day after, usually you might clean the house, you might be a little bit productive, but you just kind of want to chill and have that kind of time to yourself before you, even though you've already had that time to yourself, but you want just kind of that chill before you do have to go back to work and that kind of thing. And I think that's absolutely fine. And it's kind of this expectation to be productive, get back to the gym, do all these things straight away after we've had a little break, especially like after Christmas. I know a lot of people, very triggering on Boxing Day or the day after Boxing Day, when everyone was like, yeah, I'm back to the gym now, stuff like New Year's resolutions, I'm going now, I'm going to start now, after all that food I ate over Christmas, and I'm like, shut up, because it's just so triggering for anyone else, not just people with eating disorders and that kind of thing, but it's so triggering for anyone really who might have overindulged over Christmas and that kind of thing. So every time I see those posts, I unfollow that person. Even if it's someone I'm quite close to, I unfollow them just for a bit, or I mute them or something like that, because it's so triggering and I don't need that in my life. So that's another piece of advice I'd give today, is if you see anything that you get triggered by, or you just get upset by, or you have any negative connotation to that post or that story or anything you see on social media, if you have anything negative to say about it, like for yourself, I mean, I hope you're not just judging people when you're scrolling, but if you think like a negative thing when you see something online, unfollow them, mute them, block them, whatever you want to do, even if it's a friend, if it's someone that you are really close to. Social media can be so toxic. So the advice I always give to people who are struggling perhaps with like body dysmorphia and comparison, delete all of those accounts from your following that really triggers you and really upsets you with that kind of thing. You know, when you doom scroll for hours, like the first step to avoid that is to delete all the things that make you feel shit about yourself. And this can be quite hard to do because maybe everything triggers you, but you've kind of got to follow, and then also spend that time trying to find accounts that are good for you and that you want to follow and that give good advice, like my account, for example, but whatever it is. For example, a couple years ago when I was in my Hot Girl Walk podcast phase, I was listening to this one podcast. I'm not going to name who it is because, I don't want to put that out there, but I was listening to kind of the first podcast I'd found back then, and I loved her. I loved the podcast. It was very similar to this one, just wellness, that girl lifestyle, that kind of thing. And I was listening to her, and then suddenly she did a post about, like, she had experience with eating disorders, but she did a podcast, and I was listening to it, and this was when, again, I was in pseudo recovery, so this was very damaging to me. And she was talking about how you still have to do exercise every day, you've still got to watch what you're eating, and these kind of triggering things that I just wanted to, like, DM her. I think I did DM her. I think I said, for someone who has had an eating disorder, talking about her, this is so triggering because people might want to listen to that to help them, like me, and it's just really upsetting to see that you've posted that. She didn't get back to me because that was before I did my own podcast, so she did not get back to me, but I've got rid of that podcast on my phone now. Like, as much as I loved her before that episode, because I remember listening to it, I was on a walk and I just suddenly felt so horrible, and I just felt like just so sad. I did get rid of it from my earphone straight away. I did listen to it a bit more just to kind of hear if she was going to change her mind about things, but no, she just kept going. So I deleted it, and that's absolutely okay to do. Getting back onto the topic of having this kind of mental health break, it's okay to not kind of be productive straight away when you want to, or when maybe you have to. I get if you've got to go back to work the day after you've been away or whatever, okay, you kind of have to be productive, but just be easy on yourself. For example, if you usually do a workout before you go to work, so maybe you go to the gym at 6 a.m. or you do a dog walk or whatever it is, maybe not do that morning. Maybe kind of have a chill, have a Ellie morning, as I always say, have just a slow morning before you go to work to really just get back into the mindset of, okay, right, I'm in work today, kind of gather up your feelings before you go in. Again, this kind of depends on the person you are. I mean, if you're listening to this podcast, you probably do have some kind of Ellie morning. So it does depend who you are, but that is something that I really do recommend doing, and I do that a lot before work. I mean, at the moment, I am working 3 times a week. So I work part-time, 1 day a week in the office, 2 days from home. And so, like, that one morning I'm in the office, obviously I have to get up earlier, go into work, which I don't mind. Like, I love getting up early. In the winter, not so much, and I really struggle with, 1, waking up, and 2, doing that workout before I go into work. And when I first started realising I cannot do that morning workout, I was like, I feel sick this morning, I am suddenly feeling like I hate mornings, and I've kind of changed to a night owl rather than, what's the other one, morning bird? I don't know, whatever the other one is, but I'm now more of a night owl, and I'm quite worried because I'm now working full-time, which is 3 days a week in the office, still hybrid, and I'm kind of getting worried about I'm not going to be working out now, and all these worries are coming to me, I've kind of sidetracked here, but I always do, so we're going to allow it. But I'm kind of worried that, I'm not going to have time to go to the gym now. And I'm going to remind myself that, one, it is getting lighter in the mornings and I'm going to find it easier. And now I'm going to have more of a routine rather than before it was always a different day each week. I'd be in the office and I'd be doing, like, going down to Bath for the whole week, or, you know what I mean? I'd be doing other stuff. But now that I'm working all week, a job usually is that, but now I've finally got my dream job, as I've said. I think I said this last week, although I don't think I've had a podcast since. I really don't think I have. So yeah, I'm working full time now. I've landed the job, so I'm very happy about that. But as much as I'm excited about it, it's a bit daunting. But I am very excited to get back into routine. So I won't be doing these weeks in Bath anymore. I won't be doing this, and I'm actually quite thankful for that, because this one was kind of like the last straw for me. I was like, I don't want to do that again. I don't want to put my body through that. Because yesterday I got home and I was just such a bitch to my parents. I was so tired. I was so socially drained that I just did not want to do anything. And I think that's absolutely fine. And it's taken me a few times now to realise that I need to recharge my social battery and my mind. I was supposed to go on a date later. I've just cancelled because I just want to have a very chill evening. I mean, I did last night, but I just want to have a really chill weekend. I can't I can't date right now. I'm so tired and that's just gonna go late and I don't want it. I was really looking forward to it. The guy that I was meant to go on a date with is really cool and I kind of like him, so he's quite a cool person. But I was like, I'm so sorry that I'm cancelling. I've cancelled twice now, but I'm just like, I can't. I really can't. So yeah, that's annoying. But yeah, so this whole getting back on track thing is a scam, I think. I mean, it does work for some people, it really does, but for those people who are really trying on their kind of wellness journey, focusing more on their mental health, the kind of reconnecting with themselves, I think it's so important to prioritise rest and recharge over productivity, even though it all comes under the wellness bracket. But I really do think, especially in the winter, it's a kind of a different wellness lifestyle, I think. Yeah, actually, I've just made a revelation. Yeah, in the winter, it is, if you think about it, the winter is, we're mammals, we're supposed to hibernate. It is kind of like rest, recharge, just kind of get your mental health together, because it's obviously so much worse in the winter for most people, and I've definitely noticed that as well. But it's kind of just a time to, again, spend time with your family, but also spend time on your own, just to kind of think about, especially this time of the year, think about what you want out of this year, how you can make that happen, and kind of more future-looking affirmations and just resting rather than going to the gym all the time and going on hot girl walks, because it is hard to do that in the winter. So I am very looking forward to spring, summer, when it is warmer and it's lighter outside, and then I can get up earlier, because in the winter I just cannot do that. And I found it really hard. This is the first year I've ever been like this. I've said this before, but it's the first year where I just cannot wake up. I cannot get out of bed. And so those days that I am going into work, I stress out all night, have a really bad night's sleep, because I'm like, what if I don't wake up, because I miss my alarms all the time. But I do wake up, because my brain is like, Ellie, you have to wake up. Because that's another thing, those days when I don't wake up is because I've got nothing to do, or I'm working from home and I can get up at 9 o'clock or whatever. So yeah, but no, winter is definitely about just chilling and just having kind of a relaxing time with your family as well, because that's what Christmas is all about. But then summer is, yeah, the hot girl walks, the going to the gym, being productive, taking Instagram photos, I don't know, but I hope you can kind of see what I'm talking about with the kind of different wellness lifestyles. There's not just one go-to lifestyle, and I could be talking absolute bullshit. You, mentally, you might be the other way around, whereas winter could be your favourite time, summer could be a really shit time for you. But for the most part, people prefer summer because you feel better in yourself. So I hope you can understand what I'm saying there with the winter time versus summertime wellness journeys, and this has actually been a great revelation for me. This is why I wanted to do a podcast this morning with you guys, because it helps you out, but it also helps me out, and I've just woken up, so it is kind of good to get all my thoughts out straight away. So yeah, today I also kind of thought about, this morning when I woke up, I thought about what am I going to do today to kind of have that recharge, to have that kind of new invented Ellie day. Because as I've talked about before, my Ellie days used to be meditation, yoga, walks, gym, being so productive, doing like all these little tasks, cleaning my room, sorting out my clothes, sorting out my makeup, washing my makeup brushes, all these productive things. But that was me, as I've said, in pseudo recovery. That was me before I realised the beauty of rest and the beauty of kind of having a recharge day for yourself, regardless of if you've done nothing all week, but you've been with loads of people. You need that mental health day, and I think that's absolutely fine to do. But again, like, if you don't want it, you don't have to have it. You can be productive. Like, it depends what mood you're in, because I know maybe after saying this, I'm going to go to the gym or I'm going to be productive, but right now I'm just having this chill moment just to tell myself and to tell you that it's okay to have that rest. But I've realised this morning that maybe my Ellie days, those that I love so much, and maybe this is going back to the winter-summer thing, but maybe in the winter, my Ellie days are just rest days, playing a bit of Minecraft, having a coffee in bed, having a bit of a journal, podcast day, a very, very slow kind of in my bed all day kind of day. And maybe that is kind of my wellness self-care day in the winter, and maybe in the summer I will go back to the walking and the yoga and all of that. And I think that either one of them is absolutely fine, because that's what I need in the moment. And it doesn't matter, like, even if your equivalent of an Ellie day is nothing like that, but that's what you like to do for self-care or wellness days, whatever, do it. Do not take my ideas if you don't want to do them, if that's not you. I mean, again, like, if you're listening to this, you are on the wellness lifestyle, you know what's good for you, blah, blah, blah. But if you have different ways of doing that, then do it. Like, don't fall into the trap of, again, comparison, like, oh, I don't do that on wellness days, I go to the pub. Like, whatever it is for your self-care day, that's your thing, and no one else can take that away from you. Like, I've just set up in Minecraft. Like, what's more embarrassing than that? So, yeah. But I've realised, like, today, I've actually come up with so many revelations today. I'm very proud of myself. But maybe, like, you have a different version of a self-care day, as I've said, like, in the winter and the summer. Or maybe this is just who I am now. Maybe my wellness days are just utter rest days. Because I am productive, and I do like going for walks, but again, in the winter it is a lot harder to do that. But yeah, so I thought this morning, what's one thing I can do for this wellness day, this self-care day? And the first thing I thought of, because I actually went to sleep thinking about this last night, is I'm going to go to Yo Sushi on my own to just have a chill, like, take myself out. I've got paid this weekend, so I was meant to be on a date, but instead I'm just going to take myself out for a little, probably a lunch date, just get some sushi, have a chill, just do something for me that's maybe a bit out of my comfort zone as well, but something that I'm familiar with, like, not going to a brand new restaurant, like, I've done this so many times. But yeah, just kind of a wholesome thing for you, like an activity that you really want to do, or just something, if it's going out anywhere, whatever, but something that, you know, you're going to thank yourself for doing. And especially if it involves food, that's a bonus. And I have not had Yo Sushi in so long, so I will be there in a couple hours for sure. Then a part of me is like, usually when I go to the gym before, blah blah blah, and I'm like, I don't want to do that, I really don't want to do that, so I'm not going to do that. And I might put my foot down today and say, right, don't go to the gym, don't. But yeah, I also might cancel my gym membership, which is another thing I've learnt recently, because if I am I'm working 3 days a week now in the actual office, I'm not going to have time to go to the gym. Like, I'm not going at 5 o'clock after everyone else is there. I can't do that. But maybe in the summer, though, I will go before work. Like, I think that is very viable. But who knows? We will see. So I guess what I'm trying to say overall in this episode is that it's okay to change your self-care days, or your morning routine or your night routine, depending on how you're feeling or the season or whatever you're going through. You don't have to be in this productive mindset all the time. And even if you want to, but your body is telling you, no, I need to rest, and you're like, no, but I've been resting all week, take that other day, otherwise you're going to rush back into everything. It's going to be overwhelming, and your body and mind is telling you that it's not ready to do that yet, and that's fine. I know, obviously, if you work full time, whatever, like, I know sometimes you have to do it, and I think that is also a good thing when you have to be productive when you don't want to be, because it does kind of force you to realize how you react to that and how productive you can be. But regardless of the deadlines you have and everything, just still take it easy on yourself when you have to get back into it. Otherwise, as I've said, it's going to be so overwhelming and you're not going to know what to do. I know it is overwhelming when you come back off holiday and you've got so much work to do. Trust me, I get it. But again, just remind yourself it's okay if you slip up. It's okay if you're not being as productive as you want to be. And this applies to everything. So have that in mind today if you might be in the same position as me, or you're going away soon and maybe you might get a bit triggered, I guess, like me. I don't think triggered is the right word, but you might get a bit like frustrated, I guess is the best word. It's absolutely fine. Honestly, do you take it slow, and especially in the winter, just be mindful of, you might not be doing all these wellness practices. You might be getting annoyed at yourself. Like, I definitely am, like, not taking care of myself. But the first step is recognizing that you might not be taking care of yourself as much as you should be. And again, that is absolutely fine. And you don't necessarily have to be on top of it all the time. But as long as you recognize it and you do give yourself that self-love and the time that you deserve, whether it is staring at screens, watching Netflix to distract yourself, that is still, in some way, maybe a toxic way, but it is still resting. So this weekend, if you're like me and you usually use weekends to catch up on other work and to be productive, have a chill this weekend and see how that makes you feel. Last weekend I did this and I hated it because I always have to be productive. But maybe just do one thing that's productive. Maybe clean your room today. Maybe make like meal prep today. Just do one thing that's productive rather than a whole day of productivity. Catch up on your favourite TV show. If you watch The Traitors in the UK, if you've not watched the final last night, go watch it because it's a great final. It's the best TV I've watched ever, to be honest. It's so good. Go catch up on that. Go do something for yourself, but recharge your social battery. Whether you only work but you're still around people all day, or whether you are at uni or whatever. Especially at uni, weekends don't really exist. Although I use weekends to go see my, well, now ex, but my boyfriend, or go back home to see my family. And I did kind of have weekends as my kind of social time. I didn't work on weekends. But then when you're a student, it does kind of all blend into one because you don't have lectures every day. It's not like school or work. So yeah, have a kind of think about what you want your weekends to be, what you want your self-care days to look like, remembering that they will change depending on what mood you're in. If you recognise, oh, I need a self-care day, that's great. That's the first step. But kind of on that day, think, what do I need? Don't refer to your self-care list or your checklist, whatever you have. If you like making lists, that's what I do. I've got one pinned up on my wall to remind myself of the good ways to do self-care, but I think I might make a new one to kind of be like, these are ways that I could do it, and I don't have to do all of them. I could pick and choose depending on what my mood is in. Kind of just look after yourself in any way you can that your future self will thank you for. And I'm thanking you for listening to this episode today. Please rate, review, share it, whatever you want to do with it. And yeah, and I'll speak to you very soon. And I promise you I will get an episode out actually on Wednesday next week. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll speak to you very soon. Bye bye.